Okay guys, so we're going to just talk about some basic positioning from the half guard, where I like to put my hands and my feet, and what I'm looking to set up when we're in a neutral position from the half guard, okay? So I'm here with Dave. Here, I don't really use the knee shield too much. Basically what I want to do is I want to control the belt here, so I can control the distance, so it's hard for Dave to disengage if we're here. What I want to try to do with my knee shield, instead of playing with this on the hip, I want to slide it up right in front of Dave's shoulder here, and I want to try to use my hand almost like a catcher's mitt, okay? So I always want to try to be controlling here, especially the back of his tricep. I try to use my middle finger and my ring finger, and I try to keep my wrist and my elbow bent here. I need to try to follow this like a shadow because there is going to be space for Dave to come into the inside, so I need to make sure that I can stay nice and tight here with my hip and my other elbow as well. Both of our heads are going to be lined up here. So what I want to try to utilize here is my knee to try to bring Dave's head over onto this side here and create a little bit of a negative space here. So all I'm going to do is once I start looking for my underhook, I'm going to let go of this. I'm going to start coming up, coming to my underhook, and I always want to circle off to the side, keeping my head underneath Dave's here and trying to get my arm a little past 90. If I'm here, it's very easy for Dave to pull my arm out from underneath me. So what I want to try to do is when I come up, I'm going to come up on a low underhook. I'm going to grab right around here, right around his shin. I'm going to keep my head tucked. And now what I want to do is I just want to slightly put my shoulder forward here. So if Dave tries to pull my arm up from underneath me now, I'm at a much more solid base. Okay? So we'll do that at another angle. We'll spin around here so you guys can see my feet. Very important here, guys, as well, when I'm going to do the half guard, it's going to be hard for me to be offensive if the triangle is closed, okay? So very important that I always want to try to keep my toes on the mat here and my heel pointed up to the ceiling. Okay, so I'm going to have high knee shield. I'm going to be covering here the back of the tricep with these two fingers, both my elbows close to my body here. All I'm going to do is a slight little extension just to get Dave's body over on this line here. This is going to give me a nice pocket of space that I can start coming up to attack my underhook. I'm going to let go. I'm going to come up right away, start turning the corner. Here, gravity's not on my side, so right away I need to start turning this corner. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to keep a hold of the shin here. I'm going to slightly put my shoulder over top of my hand so I have a better position here. So what we'll work on now, guys, is a very common attack that's going to happen from the top underhook. So this is going to be one of my main concerns when I'm on the bottom. I need to watch out for this the whole time. If I do a good job covering this far arm, it's going to make my life a lot easier, okay? So if I'm here with Dave and this underhook starts coming down and his head starts coming down, I don't want to let him get to the point where he can glue his head to the floor here and especially get my arm. This is going to be a big problem for me, okay? So as this is happening, here, I want to do a good job of covering here, just like we talked about. As he starts to come down with his underhook, I have to time this right away. So what I'm going to do is, look, I'm going to bridge, extend out. Once I get to here, I'm going to try to pull my elbow back, and I want to try to scoot my hips underneath. 1, 2, okay? Now I'm going to get my underhook right away. I can come up, 1, 2, and I'm going to come to the exact same position as we did as our first position. Grabbing the shin, head close, and just slumping my shoulder forward here, okay? So again, we're here. I want to catch this time, so I'm going to catch his arm. As he starts to come down, I already need to be thinking bridge, extend. Now look, I pull my elbow to my body. I'm going to scoot my hips underneath. Right away, he's going to start trying to square up with me. I want to 1, 2, 3, turn the corner, and I can drop this down nice and low, keeping my shoulder over top of my hand. Okay? So we'll do one more angle here from the back, guys. Dave's coming down for his underhook. Look, I'm going to bridge, bring this up. I'm going to come to my underhook right away. As he starts to square up with me, I'm just going to follow him. Here, start turning that corner, creating a good angle, and creating a good underhook attack, keeping my head nice and close to Dave. So guys, next position we're going to work on, super common problem here from the cross face. Okay? What I want to worry about here is the reason that I'm getting pinned so easy with this cross face. It's easy for Dave to keep my back flat on the ground, because this arm is trapped. So what I want to do here, regularly in the half guard, we're going to be triangle this way. I'm going to switch my triangle really quick. I'm going to point my knees towards the wall here, and I want to try to windshield wiper my arm out of here. I need to lift Dave's hips off the ground. If his hip is still connected to the floor, it's going to be hard for me to get this arm out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to frame my arm up by his neck so he can't advance his position. I'm going to bring my knees this way. Now look, I'm going to windshield wipe underneath here, and I'm going to bring both my knees. If Dave settles his weight back down, he's still got some good pressure here. This is fine. All I'm going to use is I'm going to use my arms like a forklift. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my feet up off the floor, and if Dave puts some good pressure on me here, what I want to do here is I'm going to lift and pop my arms. And you're going to have to do that 3 or 4 times. Under here. Now it's very easy for me just to windshield wiper my arm back underneath. I'm going to grab his sleeve here. And I'm going to bring myself into the deep half guard. Okay? So again, we'll do a back angle here, guys, so you can see my arms a little bit better. I'm going to be here with Dave. He's got a good cross face on me. I'm going to keep my frame up here on his neck right away. If my legs are regularly going to be here, I'm going to switch these over. Okay? Now, the most important thing here is to point my knees out and try to lift Dave's hip off the floor. By doing that, I can just fold my arm in. It's going to come right here to his ribs. I'm going to point my hand up. When you guys are training this, make sure that you get your partner to put some good resistance on you here. All I'm going to do now is, look, I lift my knees to my chest, my feet are off the floor, and I'm going to just try to get my arms and my legs and my hips working together. So as my hips lift, I'm going to give a little push. Come underneath. Couple bumps. Now look, I'm going to slide under here. I'm going to grab his sleeve. I'm going to swing my hips underneath to start attacking the deep half guard. So we'll do one more time, guys. Just a little quicker. Frame up. 1, 2. Bump my hips. Swing under. Grab the sleeve. I can strip this grip really good now. I'm just going to rotate my knees forward, hide my shoulder underneath this hamstring, and I'm into the deep half guard. So guys, what we'll talk about now is a combination of the underhook and the crossface, okay? So both of those things are going to be separate problems, but if you put those together, they're going to be a big problem. So if I'm here with Dave, and I've made the mistake, I've given him the underhook, and I've also given him my head, okay? This is going to be bad for me. I don't want to let him shut my hip down as well, so I need to keep this frame up on his hip the whole time. Very important, what I'm going to do here with my back leg, here, my left leg, I need to tuck this to Dave's knee as close as I can. My hips are going to be slightly shifted. If I start from flat on my back here, I'm not going to be able to generate any momentum, okay? So when I'm here, what I want to try to do is I want to try to shift my hips in so that this hip almost touches the inside of Dave's leg. And I want to try to bring his base over here, so he's going to need to open this up. If Dave stays latched onto me here and he doesn't open his arms up, as I do this movement here, I can really tip him over, okay, to start a sweep. But 9 times out of 10, what a good guy's going to do is he's going to open this base up. So as I come underneath, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Even if he opens his arm up wide like this, or even just a little bit, I'm still going to have enough space that I can bring both my hands under here. Now all I want to do is I'm going to use my arms here, and I'm going to swing underneath here to come back to my underhook, and I can start doing knee twists, deep half guard, any of our options from here, okay? So again, guys, we'll go other side. So if I'm here with Dave, I made the mistake, he's got his crossface and his underhook. I want to keep my frame on his hip here. I'm going to bring this leg in as much as I can. I want to try to start this a little bit with my butt to the side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to slide this hip almost to hit Dave's other leg here. I'm going to bring this underneath my arm. I'm going to bring this underneath his leg as well. Here where he's not centered on me, he's going to want to come back square. I can use that momentum as he starts to center again to come back to my underhook, and I can underhook his leg as well, and I can start to work some of our attacks from here. Let's do this angle one more time. So over here. I made the mistake. Dave's got the underhook, he's got the crossface. I'm going to keep this nice and tight in his hip. It's very important here, guys. Look, close to his knee. If I have my leg out here, it's not going to work because he's just going to advance this knee forward. So what I want to do here, 1, 2, I want to get onto my side a little bit. I'm going to shuffle my hips in. As I do that, I'm going to point my knees towards the camera As soon as he plants to not fall down, look, 1, 2. Now watch, I'm gonna wait for my partner to start coming back to square up. As he does, I can use this underhook. I can hike it up, get underneath my opponent. I have both of my underhooks, and I can start coming to some of our attacks from the half guard. Guys, for our last position with the gable grip, one common problem that you're going to run into a lot of times is the guy's going to want to stretch this leg out so that he can apply more pressure with the shoulder, okay? So where I'm going to run into problems with this is if Dave's got his legs straightened out and his knee is kind of floating off the floor, I have nothing to base my foot off so that I can tilt sweep him here so he'll open that base up. So especially the guy's really stiff legging this really strong, what I want to try to do is I want to try to find the side of his knee here in the back a little bit so I can either use either foot. I prefer to use this foot on the side. What I want to try to do is I want to try to step this to the floor as much as I can, and then look, I'm going to slide my feet into place right away. Now I can't take my time here to do the tilt sweep when we get in here because if Dave straightens his leg out again, we're back into the same problem, okay? So you can go 1, 2, you can put this foot here, you can use either one. I don't think it makes a big difference. But as soon as I get his knee to the floor, I want a 1, 2, and then right away, shift, tilt, come to my underhook, here, and I can start coming up, okay? So same thing if we're on the other side. We're here, I've given up the underhook, I've given up the crossface, I'm already in a bad spot. What I want to try to do is I like to come right to the outside of this little tendon that runs around the back of the knee. Here, I just want to step this right in the hinge of the knee so I can go 1, 2 and bring Dave's knee to the ground. As soon as that happens, look, I can't start this from flat on my back. So as I shift here, 1, 2, I need to shift my hips up too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my hips in as far as I can. Here, tilt sweep, 1, 2, I'm coming to my underhook right away. One more time, guys. Do a little bit of a side angle here. Dave's got this leg up. What I want to try to do right away, I'm going to try to step this to the floor. I want to bring my feet, and as I do this, as I bring my feet to the floor, I want to shift my hips to the side, get a good angle, bring my foot over here, and now I'm going to shift my hips back, get Dave to open his base up. I'm going to come underneath. As soon as he squares up with me again, I'm just going to catch a ride with this underhook, and now I can start attacking the knee twist, deep half guard, etc. Okay guys, so what we're going to work now is a guillotine variation from the half guard. This is something I've had a lot of success with. It's one of my favorite submissions to do from the bottom. The grip is a little bit different, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to try to point my elbows up as high as I can. I'm going to try to use these 4 fingers. I'm going to try to grab here in my palm. Here in my other hand, I'm just going to go like a shell, and I'm going to grab on top my thumb here, okay? If you don't kind of engage your traps here, look how my arms are flat. It's very important when I'm here, look, I gotta bring my traps up so I can point my elbows up in the air, okay? So, I'll show the basic submission and then I'll show a little setup that I use to get into it as well. So if I'm here with Dave, the thing about this, the pretzeltine, it's always gonna be an arm in guillotine, okay? So this is great from the half guard because when you're getting attacked with the underhook, whenever the guy drops the head, we can always go for the pretzeltine, okay? Very, very important. What I want to try to do here is look, I rest my arm around the back, I'm going to slide this over to Dave's ear, and I want to get a nice quick whip here with my hand. I don't want to try to do this. Anytime that I do this, my elbow's open, it's going to be very easy for Dave to pull his head out, okay? So, very important when we're here, look, I try to maintain contact the whole time. Back of the ear, 1, 2. Now look, I'm going to put my palm here, or my knuckles, my knuckles here on Dave's chest. Now this hand here is going to come over, I'm going to reach, and I'm going to grab my thumb, okay? Now what I need to do is I need to make a small adjustment. I want to, like I'm rocking a baby, I'm going to go 1, 2, okay? Now it's very important as well that I don't bring Dave's forehead to the ground, I bring the crown of his head to the floor. So look, I'm going to try to rock in, almost like a crunch here. I bring the crown of his head to the floor. Now all I'm going to do is I throw my leg up as high as I can here, and I'm going to get the tap. So we go from here, so you guys have this angle as well. So here I'm always using my foot, okay? Same concept that we talked about in the basic half guard positioning. I always need to keep a good hook here, okay? So when I'm here, I keep this around the back. I'm going to slide this here to the back of Dave's ear. I'm going to come around, and I'm going to try to bring my hand right to here, my knuckles, right against Dave's pecker's chest. This hand, I'm gonna come over, grab the top of my thumb. As soon as I do this, I wanna make a rocking movement. And this is gonna make the guillotine a lot tighter. So as I rock in, here, my hands make this little shift, okay? As I do that, I'm gonna crunch down to bring Dave's head to the floor, always the crown of his head. I'm gonna pull him forward with my hips a little bit. Now look, I wanna slide this up as high as I can, up on his back. And I'm gonna get the arming guillotine, okay? So the way that I set this up a lot of times is when we're here, I'm gonna use this, the back of the tricep, and I'm gonna control the other tricep here, okay? So I give Dave a little bit of space here where he can start underhooking me. As he starts coming out for the underhook, I'm gonna shift my hips in, almost like a butterfly guard, and I'm gonna give Dave a little bit of a kick on this hook, just so he bases this arm. Once this happens, it's very easy for me because he's rigid here. I can go 1, 2, a lot of times I'll grab the belt, not to show that I'm gonna do the guillotine. I shift my butt out a little bit. That's so I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, rock in, bring the crown of the head to the ground, throw my leg up, and I get the guillotine. So one more time on our setup, guys. Here I'm gonna bait my partner with this little space here for the underhook. As he starts to come down, I'm doing a good job of covering this up. I'm gonna bring my hips in. I just extend this leg a little bit, like I'm almost gonna butterfly sweep. When he's nice and rigid here in his frames, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over, I can grab the belt, shift my hips out, bring this around. I can use my hand here to make this little adjustment too, guys. Anytime that I'm too square with my partner, I can bring my hand down, do a little shift. I'm gonna bring my knuckles over to Dave's chest. This is gonna come over. I'm gonna rotate, rock him just like a baby, pull this in, and throw my leg up as high as I can. Guys, the next move we're gonna work on is called the palmieri lock. A good friend of mine is really, really good at this move, so I gotta give him a little bit of credit. He's the one who showed me how to do it, so it's named after him. Okay? And it's from a very similar situation as the pretzel team, okay? I'm gonna be covering the triceps here. I'm gonna give Dave a little bit of space for him to come in here. Now what I wanna try to do is I don't wanna try to go for the lapel right here. What I wanna try to do is I wanna close my elbow very tight here, and I wanna try to shift my hip off here and come to here, okay? So I don't have to worry about my knee shield at all. And this is gonna be more like a spiral lock, okay? So I need to do a good job of covering the head here. Now what I'm gonna do with my back foot is I don't want to use it more like a butterfly. I want to try to get my toes right on Dave's hips, so my hook is not going to be all the way down. My hook is going to be here, almost like I'm steam-locking myself up against Dave's hip. And all this is going to do is just create a little bit of space so I can go 1, 2, right away, okay? As I have that lapel locked up. So again, when we're doing the catch again, I'm going to go 1. Now look, I need to keep this. I need to pin Dave's elbow to my hip. Here, 1, 2, I bring my toes to his hip, here, and as soon as I get to here, all I'm going to do is keep covering this arm, guys. I'm going to slowly slide this over and start to shift, okay? So just be very careful when you guys are doing this because there's a lot of pressure on the shoulder and the elbow, so it's very important to go nice and slow. So when we're here, I'm doing the same thing. I'm covering the triceps here. As this comes in, I want to try to catch. I can take this knee shield out a lot of times really quick, and I want to go low on the lapel. I don't have to be high, okay? As soon as I take this knee shield out though, boom, I gotta bring my toes right into Dave's hip or his stomach, and look, I'm gonna bring my other foot to the other hip, and right away, I don't even have to do too much. When I bring this up, I just extend my body a little bit. I'm just gonna rotate my body here, extend it backwards. I start to put a lot of pressure here, just like almost like an Americana, okay? So we'll do one more angle. When we're here, what I want to try to do is this is coming in here, I catch, and right away I can take this knee shield off just for a second. And this is going to give me a little bit of space where I can grip up on his gi, nice and low. I'm going to do a good job covering this other arm. Here, I can bring my knee right up by his shoulder, my toes onto his hip or onto his stomach. This is just going to create a little bit of space so I can bring my other foot in. Now look, I go high up across his shoulders, extend my body, and get the tap. So guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the mechanics of the knee twist, and this concept is going to be very important when we go into the deep half guard section of the DVD as well. okay? A lot of the times when I'm attacking either my knee twist or my deep half guard, it's gonna come with my opponent posting this leg here, okay? And this is gonna happen very quickly, and it's gonna be something you have to be aware of, okay? So you can capitalize when that happens. Anytime that I'm in Dave's half guard here, if both my knees are on the floor, I want to go to my knee cut, I'm obviously going to have to step my right leg up first. If I do this, I can get tipped over to this corner very easily, which is not good for my base. And it just makes a lot more sense, you know. 1, I do a quick step, 2, and I can pop up to here. That would be the same thing if I want to disengage as well, okay? If you have someone that wants to run around your guard instead, a lot of times they're going to frame up on your hip, 1, 2, and disengage from the guard, okay? So, what I need to have, be very aware of this. So as this happens, as I get here and Dave lifts this leg up, as soon as this happens, what I want to try to do, I want to hug his leg, I want to go underhook on the other leg. Now what I want to do is like a scissor motion. My back leg wants to be right over top of Dave's Achilles, and I want to extend my body here. So I'm going to extend, and I'm going to drop my top leg down, right on the hinge of Dave's knee here, so his leg is nice and 90 degrees. As soon as this happens, I'm just going to slide my underhook up. I'm going to grab his pants here. I want to pull Dave to me, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a pass off. 1, 2, okay? Keep my hips engaged, nice and tight. So same thing if we're doing this on the other side. He's going to step this leg up. As soon as this leg steps up, doesn't really matter too much where my hands are. I just want to be close to him. There doesn't want to be any space so I can get underhook. I preferably like to go underneath the leg. Now, I keep this leg high. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this back. I'm going to try to scissor motion on his knee. And I keep this foot up as this hand slides to his hip. 1, 2. By maintaining this foot nice and high, it keeps a lot of pressure on Dave's knee. And now I can do a little pass off. 1, 2. Okay? Very important too, guys, that my hips aren't far away from Dave's knee. I want to bring my hips in nice and close. Okay, so we'll do one more angle here from behind. So as soon as this foot steps up, I want to be nice and tight. What I want to try to do is, look, extend here, and I want to drop this right down on the back of Dave's knee. Very important that I keep my leg up. Now I want to try to curl myself in as much as I can. I slide up, I'm going to grab the pants, I'm going to pull Dave towards me, keep my shoulder nice and tight, and I'm going to do a little pass off and engage my hips. Okay guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to work attack off the low underhook. What I'm going to explain in this section of the DVD is when to go low and when to go high, because there's going to be different attacks for different situations, okay? So if we're into our knee twist here, and I'm here with Dave, and then go 1, 2, 3, okay? I'm going to do this little pass off here. I want to try to keep my arm low, because the problem with going high here, there's going to be a lot of great options off the high underhook. It's probably actually the underhook that I prefer. But if Dave's able to whizzer me, he can keep me here. If he puts a nice strong whizzer on me, it's going to be hard for my arm to go back low. So very important when you guys do get here, stay low, okay? Now all I'm going to do is a little quick pass off. I'm going to go 1, 2, with my foot. I'm going to bring this hand out. I'm going to push Dave's knee open a little bit, okay? A lot of times, as his butt is coming back, here, so keep your whizzer on me. When he brings his butt back towards his heels is a good time for me that I want to do this. I want to lift, I want to cup, and I want to extend. 1, 2, okay? Very important here is there's no whizzer. I don't have to be worried about the whizzer at all here. As long as I keep good posture in my body. Dave gets in a really good base here. As long as, look, I keep my head to Dave, and I keep my hand to the floor, and I keep connection with my head. All I'm going to do now is, look, I'm going to push in here, and I'm going to lean in here, right into his IT band. And I don't even really have to take him down. I can really fold him because there's a lot of pressure on that knee. All I'm going to do now is cover the top of his knee. I'm going to start to push Dave down with my head. As we get to here, I maintain this pressure on his knee. I'm going to rotate my hips and skip this. 1, 2, 3. Here to get into our smash pass. Okay? So that's the most important thing, guys. Anytime I'm here on the dogfight, in this type of position here, there's gonna be a lot of pressure on my shoulder. I can get my head wizard into the ground here all day, okay? As soon as I change this to a nice low underhook, and very important, I don't have to worry at all about my positioning, more about my head. Here, I can fold Dave very easy. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if we do that again, we'll do the setup one more time. We'll do it one from the back this time. So if I'm here, any way that I want to get into my knee twist, I can set it up from here, or if he steps this leg up, we can do those same mechanics with the scissors. So look, 1, 2. Right away, I want to stay nice and low. I'm going to do my little pass off, and I can use this hand to lift Dave forward, his butt a little bit. Okay, so 1, 2. Keeping a lot of pressure. When Dave opens his base up, as he starts to go back, that's going to be a good opportunity for me to kind of catch a ride with that momentum. So if you come back for a second, we're here. As he does that, all I'm going to do is get up onto my shoulder and up onto my hand. Okay? I can have my arm just about here, or I can grab on his shin as well. What I want to do now is look, push, push, cover the knee, bring his back to the floor, and come right to my smash pass here. So guys, what we'll do here, sometimes if you get someone with a little bit more flexible hip or knee, and you're not able to pressure them from the single leg, we'll talk about how to do the limp arm from here as well, okay? So when I'm here from my knee twist, Dave lifts this up. I want to go 1, 2, all the same details. I can use this backhand to pop Dave forward a little bit. I'm going to switch here, keep that good pressure on his knee. When he opens this base up and he starts to come back, like I said, this is going to be our time to slide up to my knees right away, okay? Good head connection. Let's say that Dave's a little bit more flexible and I'm not able to get that pressure single that we were talking about. All I'm going to do is I'm going to reach to my hip, I'm going to pressure my arm forward, I'm going to limp arm out of the first move, okay? What I want to talk about now is our back take. So we can do a bear trap like here on the leg back take, which works really, really well, especially if you don't have a ton of flexibility to bring this hook in. So let's say Dave turtles up nice and tight here. What I want to try to do is I'm going to maintain my foot on the top of his, okay? All I'm going to do is I bring my knee into this pocket and I'm going to start going for my seatbelt and start rolling over top of my shoulder and pulling Dave over top of me, okay? So as I go 1, 2, I want to have Dave floating on top of me. Because I have this leg trapped, it's very easy for me to bring this first hook in, shift him down, and take the back. Okay? So again, guys, go on this angle here. We're here, going for our knee twist. I knee twist, 1, 2. I'm keeping my underhook nice and low. I'm going to do that little pass off again here, and I can bump Dave forward with this hand. As Dave starts to bring his base back, I want to try to cover his knee, and I'm going to use that momentum to pop up to my knees right away, okay? We weren't able to pressure with a single leg this time. I can pressure in to create a little bit of space, grab my hip, I'm going to limp arm out, 1, 2. As soon as Dave turtles up, I'm going to stay on his foot here. I'm going to bring my knee in here. I'm going to start rolling over top of my shoulder, 1, 2. I want to pull him right up on top of me. Because I have this leg trapped, it makes it very easy for me to put my first hook. And now all I need to do is I'm going to bring this leg up around the back of Dave's butt here and push him down so I can slide in to take the back. Okay? So we'll do one more, guys. Here, I'm going to my knee twist. 1, 2. What I want to try to do here is look, I'm going to bump Dave forward, switch my hook. As soon as I feel him open his base up and start to go back, I want to follow him up right away. Hand to the floor, head up, good posture. I can't get the single this time. I'm going to push in a little bit, reach to my hip. I'm going to limp arm over, 1, 2, and take the back. Okay guys, so we're going to start talking about how to attack from the high underhook here. There's a lot of good attacks. Our approach is going to be a little bit different. We're going to think more about sweeping and taking the back from here. So the first thing we're going to work on is a good sweep from here. So we're going to do our knee twist. I'm going to fall down, twist the knee. I'm going to slide up to my high underhook here, and I'm going to grab the pants. Here I have Dave's leg isolated with my legs, and he's isolating his own arm because he's going to use that wizard as a control for me not to go to his back. Okay, so I'm going to do my little pass off here, 1, 2. I'm going to pull Dave on like a 45-degree angle. over top of my shoulder. As I do that, I'm gonna use my hips to knock his leg into his leg and bring him up over top. So 1, 2, okay? Once I get to here, what I wanna try to do is maintain his knee at 90 degrees, keeping a lot of pressure on there. I can use this grip to punch forward. I'm gonna bridge off my right leg. 1, 2, keeping my head nice and close so he can't get his frames on me. Putting my hand over top of his knee. I'm gonna skip through. 1, 2, and then I can come to this smash pass again, okay? So, we'll do that again. On the other side. Same thing, he's gonna have this leg out. We're gonna go right into our knee twist right away. And right away, if I want, I can either go low, high, or I can go for this high underhook right away. So like I explained, we're gonna have his leg isolated with ours. He's isolating his own arm. I'm gonna pull Dave on like a 45, and I'm gonna bring my hips here. 1, 2. Once I get to here, I'm just gonna use that momentum. I'm gonna bridge off my foot, bridge into him, keep my head nice and close. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So just for the purpose of the move, guys, when I'm explaining it, I'm stopping in the middle. But when we're going to do this when we're rolling, you're always just going to use that momentum as you sweep through the position just to come up on top. So as I come to here, 1, 2, I'm going to do my switch. When I go here, I'm going to follow Dave right up. Cover the knee. Come right here to my smash pass. Okay guys, so the next thing we're going to talk about is a really common reaction that's going to happen a lot of times when we go for this sweep. A lot of times the guy's not going to stick around and see what happens. As he feels his base start to shift, he's going to take that whizzer off here and use it as a post, okay? That's going to stop our sweep, but the thing is it's going to give us an avenue to take the back from there. So when I'm here, guys, everything's the same. We're going to our knee twist again. 1, 2. I can slide her up to this high underhook right away. As I switch my feet here, I want to try to go for the first sweep. Okay, so I'm going to try to come underneath Dave. 1, 2. It's very important, guys, that I get enough pressure in my sweep that I get Dave's knee floated. A lot of times what will happen is this leg will come up as well. He'll post his foot on the ground here, just to compensate a little bit for his base. So as this is floating, what I want to try to do is I want to slide my knee up as much as I can, and I want to try to just replace my underhook with my foot as I rotate my head back. 1, 2, and I catch this hook here. I want to get a nice grip here on the lapel. I can just shift back here, and I can start to attack my second hook. Okay? So again, guys, very important when we're here. 1, 2, I go high. 3, I'm going to start to go for my sweep here. Here, as this happens, as soon as he posts, there's nothing covering his back. All I need to do is Homer Simpson style. I'm going to walk around the ground, and I'm just going to replace this. Shift back. 1, 2. Hit the back here of my seatbelt. So we'll do one more angle, guys. Here from the back so you guys can see what's going on. When I'm here, I'm going to chop, get my knee twist. I can slide up to my high underhook. I'm going to pull Dave forward, switch my hook, okay? As I start to threaten this sweep, I want to generate enough force that I can float this knee a little bit. So here, 1, 2. When his knee is floating, all I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this hook here. So this is going to slide up, and as I do that, I want to walk in and rotate my head out the back and come up to here, bring Dave down, get my hook, and get my seatbelt. So guys, we'll talk a little bit now about going to, when we're coming up on our underhook, a lot of times before we can get to the knee twist, the whizzer already becomes a problem. Okay, so there's a nice little attack that we can do to use to prevent this and to counter the whizzer a little bit. So let's say Dave's got both of his knees on the ground. I started coming up right away, and this whizzer already starts to become a problem, okay? What I want to try to do here, guys, is if I can, I'm going to pass my hand here to grab Dave's wrist, and I want to try to make a catch with my right hand, the back of his tricep as I'm falling. So I'm going to start trying to fall in towards Dave here and catch. As soon as this happens, look, I can just use my knee to extend him a little bit, drag off. I'm going to come up, and I can grab this right away, grab this collar. I'm gonna make an anchor with my hand. I'm gonna come down to the back of his tricep here. What I wanna do now is fall off to the side and create a little bit of negative space in between me and Dave. Here, as I do this, I'm gonna use my left foot. I'm gonna push, pull, and take the back. Okay guys, so one more time. Nice and simple. Here he's got both of his knees on the ground. I'm gonna come up. He starts whizzing me right away. As he does, before he can get this too deep, I wanna use the same hand that I have as an underhook to catch his hand right away. Now, the only tricky thing here, guys, timing-wise, is as I fall, I need to make a catch, okay? And I wanna try to bring my hips into Dave this way as I fall. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, pop up. I'm gonna anchor my hand here on the lapel, come to the tricep, drop off, create a little bit of space between me and Dave. Left foot is gonna scoot back, push and pull, and take the back. So we'll do one more angle of that, guys. Here, go other side. So as I'm coming up here, right away, he's already created a problem with the whizzer. It's gonna be hard for me to get my knee twist. My rear hand here, I'm gonna bring this in. As I fall, what I wanna try to do is catch here. So I fall, 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 catch. I bring this elbow out, extend my body. 1, 2, anchor my hand, grabbing the back of the tricep, creating a little bit of space between me and Dave, using my right foot to scoot and push and pull. So guys, let's talk about using the overhook on this outside leg. A lot of times we talk about using the underhook, and it's a great tool. I use it all the time. But the overhook is also a good tool that we can't forget about, and I don't think a lot of people use it, okay? So when we go into that knee twist, again, I'm here with Dave, and I go 1, 2, I get into my clamp right away. I don't want to get too tight here, because as soon as I get this, I want to have a little bit of momentum, and look, I can extend my body, rotate my hand over, and I'm going to come to this outside leg. Okay, right away I need to slide this up, and I want to try to pull Dave's his body forward here, and I want to start to work on triangling both the legs right away. I can use my right hand here to grip my pants, and my other hand here on his hips. Okay, so the first option that we're going to do to sweep the person, we'll do a little double attack. So I can pull Dave here, and as I do this, I want to slide my hips underneath him here to get his butt to the floor, okay? If I can get Dave to about here, and I can't get him all the way over, it's very easy. But I can bring my hand through here, I can grab his sleeve, and come up on top, okay? Another common reaction that's gonna happen here is I can use that momentum to get up on top without having to go through the legs. So when I'm here, I go 1, 2, I come to the outside right away, I pop them forward. I want to try to bring Dave's knees together, so I use my hips more than my arms. Then I'm going to bring this foot across, and I'm going to come here to my triangle right away, okay? When I'm here, I can bring my hips underneath, I give a good pull. Sometimes I can catch him and come up right away, smashing his legs, okay? Another common situation that can happen off this sweep is if Dave's base is too strong in his arms, I can come up the back. If I'm here, I do my knee twist, I come to the outside, I lift up this underhook, I'm gonna walk him, 1, 2. Let's say that his base is very, very strong here through his arms, and right away I feel like I can't move him. It's very easy for me to do this. Try to move him, and as he brings his knees back to the floor, pop up to the back. And I can start attacking the back or start attacking the sweep as well. Okay, so we're gonna have those. This is all the same sweep, it's just going to depend on the guy's reaction from the top, okay? So just make sure that as we're attacking this, that we do a good job of here extending our body, coming out, using our hips to pull him forward, 1, 2. Once he gets his hands to the ground, it's all the exact same motion. I just have to see what my partner's reaction is going to be, okay? So I want to try to pull, I can come through. If I can't sweep him this, he brings his knees back to the ground. I'm just going to follow him up here and start attacking the back as well. Okay? So guys, what we're going to do off the double foot grab here for a variation is how to take the back. I really, really like this, and this is something I'm going to start trying to integrate in my game. But it makes a very nice angle here for us to start taking the back. So when we go into that knee twist, everything's the same. So I go 1, 2, I extend, I get here to the double foot grab, okay? What's gonna happen here a lot of times is, look, my triangle, I need to have my legs triangle this way. So if I'm on Dave's right leg, my right leg needs to be on the bottom. I can't be like this because I'm not gonna be able to create traction with my foot, okay? So when I go here, look, I bring these 3 or 4 toes to the ground. What I wanna start trying to do is walk on the floor kind of like Homer Simpson. Here, so 1, 2, 3. Now look, Dave still has a good base, but he has to open this up wide. So it's very nice for me that I can extend my body here, and I can start to reach for his back. And now look, I use this hand to bring Dave's butt to the ground. 1, 2. As this happens, what I want to try to do is I'm controlling Dave's legs here with my bottom leg. If I do this, I have no control. So I keep this nice and high, and I want to try to do a little bit of a switch off. So I'm going to knee him in the chest here, and I'm going to switch my legs over. I can control both, but even if I just have one, it's a great control. But if you can get both, it's even better. Now look, I'm going to extend, come up to my elbow. Now look, I use this, I bring my knee to the floor, and what I want to try to do is start pulling Dave over to my right as I circle around to the back. Here, I'm going to find the shoulder, seat belt, and both hooks. So again, guys, we're here, we're going knee twist, extend out, 1, 2. I'm going to bring my right foot to the floor. I'm going to go Homer Simpson style. I'm going to walk on the floor, here, come to the back. Once I get a good angle in here, I need to pull his butt to the ground. Here, catch, I'm going to pass, here, and now look, I can catch his legs. 1, 2. Even if I can just get one leg. Sometimes if the guy's base is a little bit wider, you can even electric chair on this a little bit. You can go 1, 2 with your feet here. This is another great control that you can do. I need to extend my back up, get up onto my elbow here. If you do have the electric chair, you need to make sure that you let this go before you take the back, because it's going to trap you up a little bit too. So if I do have this grip, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now look, right away, I try to find this shoulder here and do a quick little pass off and bring my hooks in. Okay? So one more time, guys, nice and quick. So when I'm here, this knee is up. I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Get into our position again. Now look, I'm going to bring my toes to the ground. Walk, walk, walk. Catch. I'm going to bring Dave's butt to the ground. Here. And now I'm going to bring this leg over. It's a little pass. So see how I'm controlling Dave's legs here with my bottom leg? Very similar to the knee twist concept. So I'm going to do a switch. 1, 2. Come up to my elbow. Here, a lot of times I can fake like I'm going to go to the mount here as well. When he starts to turn back to not get mounted, it's very easy for me to turn this corner, catch, 1, 2, and bring my hooks in.